Hi, I wanted to talk to you today about a Chinese herbal formula that's very commonly used called Jia Wei Xiao Yao San and its use in the treatment of anxiety disorders. There is research to show that it is very promising in the use of anxiety disorders, especially if the person matches the pattern that is treated in Chinese medicine with Jiaowei Xiaoyao San, where the person might have a lot of stress and a certain amount of inflammation in their body. This would be determined by a Chinese medicine practitioner by a purplish or a reddish tongue and different signs of stress and different signs of inflammation, along with a wiry or rapid pulse. So in this study that I want to share with you, it shows that Jiaowei Xiaoyao San can be promising in the treatment of anxiety disorder. And the author is Jia Xie et al. So it says Jiaowei Xiaoyao San has shown excellent clinical efficacy in anxiety disorder, but has not yet attracted widespread attention. And part of that is because most of the research is in Chinese, Japanese, and Korean versus in English. So it says that in preclinical studies, Jiaowei Xiaoyao San showed therapeutic effects in reducing anxiety-like behavior. The mechanisms may include improving the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis and hormone disorders, increasing neurotransmitter content, neurogenesis, and regulating the synthesis of related enzymes, and that it could effectively treat anxiety disorders by regulating the central nervous system. Anxiety disorder is a common mental illness with persistent fear or anxiety, typically lasting 6 months or more, and related behavioral disturbances. At present, treatment of anxiety disorder is still based on drug intervention, and there are a variety of drugs that doctors choose from, and the price can be high, and there could be side effects from the chemical drugs that are used. It talks about how traditional Chinese medicine shows unique advantages in the treatment of psychiatric disorders. So at present, Jiaowei Xiaoyao San was mainly used to treat anxiety, depression, insomnia, and other mental illnesses. It can also be used to treat gynecology, stomach disease, internal heat, cough, diabetes, and liver cancer. So this patent herbal formula in China is used for a variety of different complaints, in addition to anxiety disorders. So there are a few different theories as to why Jiaowei Xiaoyao San helps anxiety. The mechanism mainly focused on in this study was the nervous system, especially the hippocampus, the cortex, and the amygdala. The HPA axis is common in models of anxiety, and this formula can normalize the HPA axis by decreasing the plasma levels of corticosteroid, corticotropin releasing hormone, and adrenocorticotropic hormone. It says the effects are similar to those of the positive drug imipramine, suggesting that it is more effective in treatment of symptoms of HPA axis disorders in anxiety disorders. It also has been shown to regulate neurotransmitter levels. It can increase the monoamine neurotransmitters in the hippocampus. It's also been shown to increase hippocampal neurogenesis, which means that it helps neurons to grow in a part of your brain called the hippocampus, and the hippocampus is related to different mood disorders like depression and anxiety. So in clinical studies, it's been shown that Jiaowei Xiaoyao San has a therapeutic effects on patients with anxiety disorder and anxiety. Using the Hamilton Anxiety Scale, the self-rating anxiety scale, and other scales to evaluate the anxiety level of patients, researchers found that oral administration of Jiaowei Xiaoyao San alone can reduce the anxiety levels of patients. The mechanism of Jiaowei Xiaoyao San is mainly to improve the levels of the HPA axis and other hormones, regulate the content of related enzymes and neurotransmitters in the brain, and affect the nerves of the hippocampus. So this formula has been popularly used in East Asia to treat anxiety, especially in people who fit the pattern of disharmony that this formula is used to be treated in Chinese medicine. So this article reviews the use of Jiawei Xiaoyaosan in anxiety disorders, and it concludes that clinical studies have shown that Jiawei Xiaoyaosan has a certain effect in the treatment of anxiety and anxiety disorders, and at the same time it can reduce the adverse reactions of patients. It's a potential anxiolytic drug at a cheap price. Also, another good thing about Jiawei Xiaoyaosan is that it doesn't conflict with other drugs people are taking for their mood disorders. Jiawei Xiaoyaosan can be used along with SSRIs and drugs for anxiety without causing any drug interactions. It is a promising formula for anxiety. It's also used for other things. In the clinic, when I've used it to treat people, I've used it to treat people with anxiety and depression, but I've also used it to treat women with PMS, and I've also used it to treat people who have hormonally induced acne. So it's a promising Chinese herbal formula, and I think it's one that people should know about more because it is very useful. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you got anything out of it, please hit the like button and subscribe. Have a great day.